episode 39 of What If Civilization Started Over. Let's get into it. Today is the York Revolution. A revolution in the colonies of the French colonies of the central French colonies against, France. But first, before we do that, we're going to look at this. These updates are going to be pretty simple for today. A very dark brown country breaks away from never mind. Not there. There instead. Didn't realize that. But now, that's the Japanese update. And for Korea, the North Koreans are pushing back a lot more. Pushing not all the way back, but to about here. These guys, the Chinese, to about here. And the South Koreans to about here. Which war looks something like this. So yeah, the North Koreans have really mobilized the military a lot. And yeah. Now we can get to the real fun over here. The York Revolution. After a skirmish sort of thing happening over here in the York colony, the central government of the central colony, which that broke away, so a bunch of other colonies joined it. So now these guys want to take over the entire French colony and become a big power in the Americas. That's not a European. Well, technically they're the only country in the Americas that's not European. So, these guys will eventually declare war on France, which is also going to make them declare war on, the Triangle Alliance. But first, before they do that, they're going to start by bringing a bunch of troops into the Southern Ontario colony. And they were sending a bunch of troops there. A bunch of protests come from here, but the referendums in some of the colonies didn't make it, but a lot of people want to join this. Like the Michigan colony just gets forcefully held. The people just protest and rebel against and join. Yeah. So now this thing is a lot more connected. Over here, the French will start to push back a little, hoping to take back the Nova Scotia colony, which they do take. The Nova Scotia colony within the Northern colony. I don't have the map anymore for some reason yet. And yeah. But the biggest problem is the central owner government thing of this rebellion is here. And if you notice something, they're completely surrounded. Which color is the right color? No. So these central people are going to connect these two territories through here, and that solves that issue. But these colonies up here are being, pushed back. Yeah. Specifically, a majority of the troops from France, or a lot of people from France, troops, will completely surround this colony, also making a naval blockade, basically making this thing all on its own. Yeah. But it still wants to stay with the revolution, and it is going to continue to push back. And these people are now looking for allies. They're looking for people who do not like the French, or the Triangle Alliance overall. And guess who doesn't like the French? Hint, hint, they're in the British Isles. Yep, you guessed it, Britain. So the British would join the war, the revolution, against the French. Firstly, by taking both of these territories, which they just wanted those territories. The French are mainly worried about the Americas. And the British are going to start taking some colonies back. maybe not back. Maybe this area is not back, but these areas, they make a sort of landing thing here, and they start to like make they make a big front about there. It actually looks more like that. Let me color that back in. But this thing here, this thing is completely encircled. And yep, that thing just decides to surrender. But now, these troops here are going to continue to try to take as much of the Pennsylvania area as possible. This bay thing here is going to, well, be taken. And, the New Jersey colony is also taken. Which is going to cause this rebellion to, do stuff. But then, another country is going to come to the aid. You guessed it. The Corsicans and the Iberians. So, they're both sending troops over to the Americas to stop this York Revolution. And, guess who else doesn't like the French? The yellow team, and the green team, and the gold team. Yeah, everybody on the border doesn't like these. So, they're gonna join the rebellion by sending troops. They're not gonna invade France directly, but all of them are kinda sending troops over, specific to secret troops, through this York thing here, and to like stop the French expansion in the Americas, and make possibly they be the colonizers in the Americas. Confusing. But yeah. With these guys knowing about them, they're gonna push back, making this sort of front thing here a bit bigger. So, like, there's a naval blockade here, by the way, and they're gonna try to cut through it. So far, it looks something like this. There's a big bump here. It used to look like this before a bunch of the navies start to try to push through. Maybe more like this. No, it looks more something like this. Yeah, something like that. Yes, and they do eventually break through it, making the naval blockades look something like this. So now the troops from the yellow team going across the entire Atlantic Ocean are finally going into here, which is going to cause these areas to be the Jersey colony and the Bay colony to be taken. But then a general named Albert Robertson is going to be sent from the York colony down to here to fight as a general. No, not Robert. Albert Robinson is going to go down here, and he is basically the Napoleon of America. He's such a good general. For reference, these areas here, the French are pushing back a lot. Like, a lot. The French push back all the way to here and take this entire thing. Yeah. Maybe not like that, but like this. So, Albert Robinson is going to make a massive push on the coastlines of the French colony in America. And he is so successful that he takes out the entirety of the French coastlines down south within a month. Yes. Otherwise it probably would have taken years. But then these colonies connect with his strength. And now, all of the French troops that are down here being supplied are going up here to go back. So now, Albert gets sent over to make a massive spearhead to encircle these troops. And it starts, but the French push it back with a few troops. But then Albert arrives. How do I keep forgetting his name? Albert arrives, and his spearhead is so successful it cuts off his troops. Yes, all of the French troops. Not all of them, like half the French American troops, are in here. They eventually encircle them all of them. They do eventually encircle, and they all get encircled in this tiny area right here. And eventually, after a long battle, they're taken. This is a massive step in the revolution. This is gonna mark a big part in the revolution, and let's look at Ontario. The Ontario colony is not that much. The Ontario colony, the Southern Ontario colony, and the Northern Ontario colony are both fully taken out of this revolution. Let's look at the British front now. The British, over time, are taking back their territories. The territories they once owned and rightfully owned of France. And let's go back home, where something is going to happen that's maybe a little unexpected. The yellow team and the gold team invade France. The yellow they feel like this is the perfect time to invade the French with all of their troops, 90% of them actually, in the Americas. And then the British see this and they invade. And then right when the French are about to reach the capital, so the French surrender to the revolutionaries, the British, the gold team, and the yellow team. The Iberians will just drop out of the war. So now let's look at the peace treaty of this war. And this is the peace treaty of the war. We're gonna start over here, where the British are gonna take this and this and this. The gold team is gonna get this, having a coastline, as they've always dreamed. The yellow and the yellow team is gonna get this. That makes France weaker. Now if we go to the Americas, the British are also going to get this, the Nova Scotia colony thing, which includes all of this. Pretty much the whole northern colony of England. The French. The French will get that, and that, and that. But for a big price, because the revolutionaries get this, this, and this. And if we add a capital, their capital is going to be dangerously right there. Yes, the capital of the revolution is probably the most dangerous place it could possibly be. So that's something. But let's actually like when this video some kind of expansions happened within that time. Just not between the skirmishes of the revolution starting and now. Let's see what those expansions look like. So the French now let me just draw them in. So these are the expansions that happened in that time. The French got this. French, now Americans, got this. The Iberians got this. And the purple team got that. From expansions that happened. So, that is, and the Irish, they didn't do anything because they were recovering from trying to, make the government work. So that is actually going to do it for today's video, but before this video ends, I want to talk about something. So, about World War Z. World War Z ended, like, it was happened in around the 1350s. It ended in 1355, and the Americas were discovered in the 1500s, so it's been about 115 years since World War Z ended. In the World War Z peace treaty, there's a lot of things that the peace treaty said that was not allowed to happen until 300 years after World War Z ended, such as the unification of Iran, of a major Iran state ever coming, and also the prisoners of the yellow and blue team families from the Egyptian capital going back to the Mediterranean Union. That one may sound confusing. You know why? Because I mentioned that towards the end of World War Zero, the World War Zero video, episode 20, that the blue team leader was assassinated and the yellow team leader the blue team side leader was assassinated and the yellow team side leader was imprisoned. But with that were their families. Both their families. Just the blue team leader was assassinated, not his family. So both the families from the yellow team Mediterranean Union, the yellow team royal family, and the blue team royal family were all imprisoned in the Egyptian capital and weren't allowed to leave for 300 years. Those are two major events. Maybe also a few others that I won't mention until they're major. But the thing is, they technically aren't allowed. It's 1650 right now. So it's about 5 years. It's actually about. Wait. It is at about 1657. So it's been 2 years. And some of these prisoners don't realize this. Oh, by the way, the revolution started in 1650. Some of the prisoners they know the families of the Mediterranean Union and the Egyptian capital don't know. They know that they should be released, but the prison guards don't. But then eventually some prison guards do. And it is on this day, February 13th, 1657, that the royal families of the yellow team and the blue team get released and sent back, and they start sailing to the Mediterranean Union, and about 2 weeks later they make it to the capitals of both of the countries. And the yellow team has been waiting for. The yellow team's government was installed after the peace treaty, and they're a totalitarian government. Also partial, and yeah. So when they see the royal family here, the people are excited to see them back after 300 years of them being gone, because they kind of want them back to bring back the Mediterranean Union. Same thing happens in the blue team capital. Just it's not within the blue team, it's within the Corsican Empire. So that's something to talk about. And same thing with this Star Alliance thing uniting. We're gonna see how that goes, and now that is actually the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. See you in the next episode, and bye!